All right, well, today we're going to talk about how to avoid the biggest scams out there. And this is close to my heart because it's happened to so many clients. They've gone against our advice and they believe the hype or the BS. But the truth is that old adage that says if it's too good to be true, it probably is, really holds true to those kind of things too. I heard a commercial on the radio a couple weeks ago, and it said, you're gonna learn how to trade our trading program, make a fortune. We're actually gonna give you 50 grand of our own money, so you can play with our own money. Now think about it. Does that make any sense to anybody? That makes no sense at all. They're gonna give you money and trade it, and you don't have to put your own in. Okay? Now they might give you money, and they're gonna show you that it made all this money. Look, now if you put your own money, it can go triple, double, whatever. We have actual experiences of people that put in. They gave them 2 grand. And it went to 4, it went to 10. And then they said, well, put my money in there. And then it went to 200. And they put 200 or 300 of their own money. Went to $1 million. All of a sudden it was gone the next day because of some trade that they did wrong, which is complete BS. It is impossible to make those kind of returns. It was like 100, 200% a month. Okay? Anybody believes that, they're not thinking. They're thinking with their greed button instead of their brains. So you have to make sure that if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And what these are unregulated investments, unregulated advisors. They're not licensed people. So we have one example where every time he made a trade, or every week they'd show him a screenshot of, look how much money you've made. And then another screenshot. What's the problem with that? They can make up the screenshots. It's a made up thing, right? How do you prevent that? Well, it's got to be at a reputable brokerage firm like Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity, a big, large brokerage firm. Because besides $500,000 in SIPC insurance for your securities, some of them have $500 million to $1 billion in excess insurance against fraud and stuff like that. That doesn't insure against losses. Losses are different. But at least it's a legitimate trading program, right? The other ones is just BS. Now, don't get me wrong. These people are world-class salesmen. You're not going to know. It's going to sound like the smartest things in the world. If you can't look them up on the internet and see where the money's coming from, independently verify where your account is and that your money's in there and you can take it out anytime you want, not what somebody tells you after you've done second-party verification. Now, does that say you should never try any of these things? It's fine. If you got $1 million, try 20 grand. It ain't going to affect you one way or the other. The problem is they start with 20 and it works. And then it goes to 100. They put in all the money, then it goes down to nothing. You think about this. I've used this analogy on my radio show for many years. But the largest endowment in the world is the Harvard endowment, right? It's got 50, 100 of the smartest people on the planet that run those assets. They've run every computer algorithm known to man. There's no trading program that was untouched, that they didn't try. They've never figured out how to beat the market by 1 or 2% a year in 100 years. Yet, some bozo calling you on the phone or texted you or saw on Facebook somehow figured out how to trade this market when the smartest minds in the world have never. I can tell you, it's just like those old commercials. Norman Vu, he'd be on this yacht with a bunch of models. You can do this in real estate. It's all BS. All right, don't believe it. You can't just buy no money down real estate and end up a billionaire. It just doesn't work. Some of that stuff worked during COVID when real estate was going up 20, 30% a year. But that was an anomaly. It wasn't normal. All right? You can't listen to the hype. You have to listen to the facts. Don't be caught up in the thing, because Glenn Fry had that song. It's the lure of easy money. Easy money is just that. Remember, here's a golden rule. If you can live with the consequences, then maybe you could do it regardless. You want to take a gamble? Take a gamble. We used to call it a flyer. Take a flyer. If you can't live with the consequences, don't do it. So let's say you have all your money in AI stocks right now, and they're doing fantastic. Can you live with the consequences of that thing being down 80% tomorrow? If you can't, you have too much in it. So make sure you use your head. Stay away from any private investments. Private investments have zero regulations. I could be the biggest bank thief, in the world, get out of prison after 30 years, become the #1 private investment salesman in the world. Right now, the private guys are selling real estate. They're selling apartment, commercial and individual real estate. They're selling trading programs, stocks, commodities, stuff like that. Private is private. There are no regulations. Okay? That's why they'll say accredited investors. Because accredited investors means you're worth over $1 million or you make over $200,000 a year if you're married filing jointly. What that means is they can legally screw your eyes out and you don't have no recourse because you are considered technically, legally savvy investor because you have so much, right? It means nothing to the validity of the program. Make sure you stay away from private investments. Stay away from trading schemes that are going to make it 10, 20, 40% a month. That is all ridiculous. The ones that say, I've got to trade it, my own account went from 10,000 to $1 million. BS. If they really figured out how to beat that market, okay, they would never be calling you. They'd be a billionaire you never heard of. They'd be in one of their yachts in Tahiti with native girls feeding them grapes. There is no way somebody has figured out a system that's going to make 100% a year in the market or more, and they're telling you about it. Think about that next time you're thinking about one of these investments.